M. Bombay cigars represent the most admired cigar culture of Cuba. They select the best of the best quality tobacco to use in the aging process. M. Bombay cigars are then rolled in Costa Rica by some of the most experienced cigar rollers, giving it a unique smoking experience. The band portrays the detailed and artistic nature of our small industry. Try the M. Bombay Quesada, M. Bombay Mora, and the recently released M. Bombay Habano. M. Bombay cigars, where the cigar is a way of life. Duran Premium Cigars, one of the fastest growing boutique cigar companies, providing smokers a portal into the old Cuban tradition of perfect balance and the lost art of progressive flavor construction. Roberto Pelayo Duran began his career in tobacco over 2 decades ago in Havana, where his reputation grew within Cuban circles. The creation of Duran Premium Cigars has given Roberto the platform to introduce a series of cigars that offer the same quality, construction, and detail which he perfected while in Cuba. Brands include the ultra-premium Roberto P. Duran Premium Cigar Series, Azan Cigars, Naya, and Baracoa. Duran Cigars uses a seed-to-humidor approach, as all tobacco is grown on their farms and rolled in their factory in Esteli, Nicaragua. Rollers have been carefully chosen to carry out Roberto's precise method to ensure the progressive flavor in each cigar. Duran Cigars invites you to make their premium your standard. Havana Cigar Club, located in Warwick, Rhode Island, is a great place to enjoy a drink and a cigar. Stogie Geeks listeners can find a $5 off coupon on our website by clicking the HCC logo. Now welcome back, everyone, to the founder of Defiant Whiskey, Tim Ferriss, built the distillery, the company, and the brand organically in the mountains of western North Carolina, in between deep-sea commercial diving jobs. Tim will now explain a little bit about the spirit behind Defiant Whiskey.
These guys are masters. They're artisans. I wanted to learn how to do that. I wanted to learn how to make a spirit that people tasted and was like, oh my God, that's incredible. You taste that quality. You taste that drive. You taste that passion. The minute they take a sip, the conversation's over and they're just going, that's incredible.
Am I okay? Is it okay to talk now? Sorry, I was just interjecting myself in the conversation. Anyway, speaking of conversations, I want to thank everyone who joined us in our new live chat channel. Try StogieGeeks.com/live, 8:30 p.m. every Thursday night. And I want to just give a shout out to a couple of our listeners and viewers in the chat. Dennis G, Punch Nubbit, Paradox, and of course there are actually 2 people who named themselves Paul's chest hair in the chat. So I do thank you for paying homage to my chest hair. So
I saw Hanky Kellner and Matt Booth floating around in there
exactly.
before too, and I think I saw my buddy Kruk out there earlier too. So. Shout out to Kruk if he's still there.
I don't know if those were the actual people or people just putting whatever in the...
I believe Kruk is Kruk.
Okay.
But I can't say, well, you never know. You never know. We don't verify who's in the chat room. You can make up whatever name you want. So yeah, I mean, I used to be the guy, I tell you, when I was in... we got the substitute teacher, and you'd have to fill out the attendance sheet. Yeah. I was the guy who always put Fred Flintstone's name.
Yeah, or Phil McCracken.
Yeah, exactly.
Phil McCracken.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we will. This is our first show with the new chat plugin and page that we have set up. So we will be improving upon that as time goes on. Gives maybe a little more formal registration. We're going to look into that as well.
Yep, absolutely.
So that'll be good. And there is a note at the bottom about Flash and how to watch the show. So make sure you go to StogieGeeks.com/live. Even when we're not broadcasting live, check it out. Make sure it loads in your browser. Read the little description that I have at the bottom and email any questions about the live page to the show at StogieGeeks.com.
Yep, subscribe to our YouTube channel as well.
Yes, the link to YouTube's right on the homepage. If you go to StogieGeeks.com. You can see a link to our YouTube channel. We've been putting a lot of work and effort into our YouTube channel lately. Chris has been taking some awesome pictures. We've been including those, as thumbnail images, filling out all the descriptions for everything, organizing everything into playlists, so you can get the complete archive. We actually just switched. We discontinued Blip.tv because, they shut down operations on August 30th, I believe, was the last day for Blip.tv. So if you were going to Blip.tv to watch our videos, you definitely want to go watch YouTube. I want to say, Will, that almost all of our videos, or maybe even all of our videos, have been ported over to our YouTube channel. If you go to our website, all of them, they've been removed from the website because the Blip TV embedded forms in our website, those no longer exist. We've actually stripped those out. But if you want to go watch the complete archive of videos, you can go to our YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/Stogie Geek, singular Stogie Geek. And watch all of our videos there. And, of course, subscribe to all of our audio via the subscribe links that are on our website, which are a much more robust now, I would say. There's actually stogiegeeks.com/subscribe. If you go there, you can figure out how to subscribe to the show in iTunes, Android. We give you the raw RSS feeds for all of your podcast catchers. So it's all new and wonderful. And if you have any problems, again, with any of the subscriptions or YouTube videos or websites or anything, email the show at stogiegeeks.com.
Yep. Yeah. And on the YouTube channel, too, we set up a bunch of playlists for our various topics. And some of our other brands that we've launched now, Paul, the Stogie Geeks 101 series, which I tell you what, if you're new to cigar smoking or even just want to get a good refresher, Paul put out a really awesome series out there as well.
And I wore my fancy jacket. You'll see my fancy jacket.
Yep.
Maybe even some chest hair.
Yeah. Paul's going to do those 101 videos Stogie Geek style is what I'll say. They're really good and entertaining, as well as our Stogie Geeks news show and our Stogie Geek shorts.
Yeah, so make sure you check those out. If you go to our website and click on the episodes menu, you can watch all of our other shows. So, if you know people or you yourself, don't always have time to listen to the big long show, Stogie Geeks shorts, news are shorter segments, and Stogie Geeks 1 is for the beginner. So maybe if you're listening to the show, you're like, well, I'm not a beginner. Maybe you know someone who's a beginner. You can turn them on to that YouTube playlist that we have out there, and they can learn how to cut a cigar and light a cigar and all those things.
Yep. And then just a reminder for our audience, we had a segment with Acme Cigars. They're giving away 10 sampler packs. So all you have to do is follow Acme Cigar on Instagram, send us a screenshot, and you could be a winner. They're giving 10 of those away. So we have a lot of cigars tonight.
You got a good chance of being a winner.
Yep. Inbox should be full.
It should be. It probably already is to a certain extent.
Yep.
So, Will, why don't you start us off with our Stogies of the Week?
So this was the one, if you saw the intro, Paul teased this one at the beginning. It is a short, fat cigar by Quesada, and it's part of the Oktoberfest 2015 series called Das Brauhaus. I think that's right. So, Oktoberfest is one of those now. It's really a staple as far as annual releases go. They tend to come out Quesada with the Oktoberfest. They usually show them off at the trade show. They come out in the late August, early September timeframe. They're cigars meant to pair with a malt beverage. So that's the theme, Oktoberfest. This year they put a couple of different spins on those. So they got the usual 6 sizes that they've had for the past few years. But those 6 are made in the Dominican Republic and a Dominican Puros. This Das Brauhaus is one of 2 cigars that's a Nicaraguan Puro made in Nicaragua. So the Das Brauhaus is a short fat Perfecto, measuring 4.5 by 60. The other one's a Churchill size 7 by 47 called Double Bach, and they're 2 totally different Nicaraguan blends.
Now, what's the shorter Perfecto size called?
Das Brauhaus.
Das Brauhaus. That one reminds me of a flying pig, Will.
It really does. I was surprised. It wouldn't have. I don't know this for a fact. If Quesada didn't hear from Jonathan Drew, I'd be surprised on that one.
It did. I saw it. I was like, wow, that's kind of interesting. That's a very interesting size, Will. I really want to smoke that cigar.
Yeah. It actually... with Quesada, sometimes with the bigger ring gauges, I've not had good luck with in terms of burn or combustion. However, this one was fine. It did burn very well. It keeps true to the Oktoberfest theme, so it's got that bittersweet chocolate stout flavor to it. What I will say about this is it's a bolder, spicier Oktoberfest. So if you're looking for something a little more bolder in terms of strength, we talked a lot about that last week, and full bodied really on your palate where you're going to feel the flavors, and it's going to have more in the way of spice. It's not going to be an overpowering spice. I think this is a cigar for you. I did enjoy it, and I put it as a box split, and it's really priced well. It's $7.95 too, so nice price point. Well made cigar. Great flavor. You can't go wrong. They come in these like Bavarian house boxes, and I'll say this: these are pretty limited. These have been going fast. At least Oktoberfest is a very popular cigar in the Charlotte market. I know it's not in every market, but in Charlotte, it's a very popular blend.
Excellent. I didn't smoke any Oktoberfest or beer-themed cigars, which seem to be kind of a pretty popular as of late, actually. I did smoke a Casa Fernandez Miami Churchill that you sent me, Will.
Yeah.
Did you get that locally?
No. So here's the story with the Casa Fernandez Churchill. Casa Fernandez, the only place that's an event-only size. So what they actually did is I was at a Casa Fernandez event in Jacksonville last September when I was in Jacksonville for my day job. And Paul Palmer happened to be in town, and he brings the roller in, and they roll those as an event-only cigar. So that was rolled probably back last September, and I've had a few of those.
Yeah, it was. I could tell it was well aged. It certainly didn't. I didn't get any hints of youngness on that cigar at all, Will. In fact, it was a really good cigar. It was pretty smooth, had some subtle spice, some wood notes. I would call it a 5 in my book. I thought it was a really, really solid offering. Did you smoke this one?
Yeah, I do like that cigar. I probably put it between a 5 and a box split, although they don't come in boxes. I'm a big fan of that blend. I think they did well in the Churchill with that size too.
They did. For Churchill, I mean, as Churchills go, it can be kind of hit or miss. Yep. It was a very, very awesome smoking Churchill.
Yeah, in fact, when I was down in at that event, and Seth from Seth's Humidor, he just said, "You got to get me some of these." So I managed to get some of them for him as well.
Nice.
He loves that size. I know that.
Cool. Back to you, Will.
I smoked a couple of. Well, I'll start off. I have a couple of Sosa cigars in my thing this week. So one of them is called the Imperio Cubano Miami. This is a Maduro. So the Imperio Cubano Miami Maduro. Say that fast. Imperio Cubano is a line that was originally made in Miami by Sosa Cigars in the 90s. Long story short, they moved it to the DR when Juan Sosa went to work for Arturo Fuente. And the production kind of weaned out, and the cigar kind of, I want to say, it kind of just phased out the cigar a bit. They brought it back this year. They still make a Cameroon Imperial Cubano out of Fuente, though, for some select retailers. But this is a Maduro. It's got a San Andreas wrapper. It's got a Dominican binder, and it's got Dominican, Nicaraguan, and Peruvian filler in it. I've actually been pretty impressed with the work that RB Sosa and Sosa Cigars have been doing. I think they've been coming under the radar this year. This is a small batch cigar, but it's a really good cigar. It's got a lot of classic coffee and chocolate notes. It's got some woody notes in there. It's got a very classic coffee flavor to this cigar, though. And what I liked about it was the San Andreas wrapper just did not overwhelm this blend at all.
Mm-hmm.
The burn was probably, every time I smoked the Maduro, it's like a perfect burn. It's really, I call it set it and forget it. Really good cigar, $10 price point, box split in my book. Enjoyed this cigar immensely.
Nice. I smoked the Tortuga 215 Reserva Connecticut Suave? Is that how you say that?
I think Suave.
Suave. Well, we'll have to ask Victor. This is a pretty good Connecticut offering, and the reason, I don't mean to say pretty good. I said that in my write-up about it, but It could have used some more time to settle down. In a way, it was totally my fault because, Will, you shipped me these cigars, and I didn't let them sit long enough, and I could just tell when I smoked it that I didn't let them sit long enough. It's been super hot and humid here in Rhode Island and in New England in general, so it probably didn't have a very good journey getting here to the studio in terms of heat and humidity. So I didn't take away points for that. If I were to kind of cut through my mistake of not waiting long enough to smoke it, because me in Connecticut, I have to try them all. It was a really good Connecticut offering. Although it had Nicaraguan fillers, those fillers didn't overpower the wrapper. And I talked about this with Dave Burke on the Cigar Jukebox podcast, how sometimes Connecticut's, they'll put too much like not body, but more like strength and more characteristics like spice and pepper in that filler tobacco, and it overpowers the wrapper. This cigar didn't do that. It was much more balanced than a lot of other Connecticut's that I've smoked, and was very good. It had that sweetness. It was a good creamy smoke. I think with some time, I gave him the benefit of the doubt with the rating. Instead, if I had let this sit properly, this is a box split for me for sure. I thought this was a very good, well-balanced Connecticut, which with all the different Connecticut's coming out, they're falling in different categories. This is certainly one that you want to get your hands on.
Yeah, and I actually have some more of these, so I'll get you them.
Yeah, I'll let the other one sit for a little longer.
Yeah. So a couple of notes on that. First of all, I'm finding with Victor cigars, they are usually ready to smoke right away, but they have the aging potential on these cigars have been really good. Now, this particular cigar, I had not tried it until the trade show, and I met Victor on. He was my first appointment of that day when I met him. So I went over to his booth, and he handed me one of these. So I smoked this on a totally clean palate. I found this to be a very classic Connecticut.
Yes.
He did not try to reinvent the Connecticut here. He went for a very milder profile.
I didn't think it was too mild, though. It still had some body to it. That's what I liked about it. It had some body to it.
It had some body, but it definitely, you weren't going to get a buzz from this cigar. But in a lot of ways, I think it was a lot of ways it was classic in terms of the flavors it brought out on there.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I enjoyed that one as well.
Yeah, and that comes in a 5x52, which is the size that I smoked, the Suave, the Elegante 6x54, and a Regio 7.5x56.
That Regio is good. That Regio is really good.
Pretty classic sizes. A 7.5x56 is a big cigar, which that could work in this. But I could see that working in this.
It works.
For sure.
It works. Yeah.
Cool. Back to you, Will.
So I smoked on an Imperial Cubano. I smoked a natural, which is actually an Ecuadorian Connecticut. So it's that same blend that I just talked about. But they basically put the Ecuadorian Connecticut wrapper. When you look at this cigar, and it's in my Stogie feed, it's a much darker priming of a Connecticut than your typical Connecticut. And it's a very different type of Connecticut, but I mean that in a good way. It had a lot. It had a lot of creaminess to it. In fact, the first half of the cigar, it was like a cream bomb. It was so good, right? But it had that natural. It had a great natural tobacco flavor to this thing. It provided just amount of sweetness. There was a little bit of that. I definitely picked up the Peruvian tobacco on this one more than on the Maduro, where it had that herbal note. Again, it was another cigar that I found just burned real good. It was, what I liked about this is, I kind of wrote this, the creaminess of the cigar combined very nicely with that herbal note from the Peruvian and the natural tobacco sweetness. Milder cigar, it's like mild to medium in terms of strength and body. This is a really good cigar. I don't have any more of these. I'm going to try to get some more of these, Paul, but it's a box-worthy cigar.
Which one is this, Will?
This is the Imperial Cubano Natural. Which is that?
So who is the company in the fact? Oh, this is Sosa. Okay, this is another Sosa. Okay,
this is another Sosa, and they're making it in Miami.
Nice.
This is one I gotta say. I gotta get you to try. I gotta get this cigar in your hands. I gotta get more of these. I don't have more of these, but I gotta get more.
Sosa is, you don't find Sosa here in Rhode Island.
No, and I want to get Arby back on the show. Because his father's got the ties to Fuente, and I think he's doing some really good stuff with the company. As a whole, he's a really good guy to talk to, actually.
So I smoked a cigar from Dissident Cigars.
Oh, that's the one I sent you.
I was looking at some of the history behind this company, and it's a real, like, I would call it like guerrilla marketing. I was reading, articles that said they were at the trade show, but they weren't at the trade show kind of thing. Like, they didn't have a booth, but a lot of people were talking about their cigars. They debuted at the 2013 IPCPR, Will, is that right?
That sounds about right.
And they've got, if I were to think of like a true nerd cigar, and I think that factored into kind of my liking of the cigar, this is a true nerd cigar. The packaging and the bands and the sizes, everything is retro, like, 8-bit kind of gaming themed. Their website has like, little 8-bit characters carrying tobacco leaves and things like that. So I thought it was really cool. The way they named all of their sizes is awesome. Like, if you remember Nintendo, so they've got the up, up, down, down, which is a 7x43. They've got the left, right, which is a 5 5/8 by 46. They've got the BA, which is a 6 1/4 by 52, which I think is the size you sent me, Will, is a BA.
Yep.
Is a box print. It's box pressed, right?
Yep.
And they've got Select, which is a 6 by 60. And the band around the foot says press start on it, and the 8-bit font. And then on the inside of the band, it says, would you like to continue, yes or no? I think I just thought that the marketing was really cool around it. I think it's really hard to take that technology theme and bring it to something as kind of like vintage as like tobacco and cigars, and kind of more classic like a cigar, to bring in technology in that. I thought they did a pretty good job of it, Will.
Yeah, I agree. I met these guys in Chattanooga. Two guys named the guys behind the company. They're out of Wichita, Kansas.
Mm-hmm.
Names Gordon Crippen and Red Ryan. They are characters.
I bet. I can tell from their packaging that they would be characters. We got to get these guys on the show.
Oh, I told them. Oh, yeah, they're really. We got to get them on the show because they're and they really are knowledgeable. And what's interesting is they sell that cigar. Obviously, that's their brand. It is a nationwide brand. They're distributed. They're big in the Midwest.
Yep.
They were big in Chattanooga. The other thing is, their shop is very traditional. They're a Davidoff white label account too.
Interesting.
So yeah, they kind of balance both of that out, where they can, kind of go, very edgy and very classic. So.
And do you know where they make their cigars, Will?
I maybe get in trouble for saying that. I believe it's out of the J.C. Newman factory.
Okay. I couldn't find that information online, but
I believe that's where it is.
Yeah.
That's what I've heard.
Okay.
Yeah, I may get in trouble now.
The wrapper rather is a Habano Jalapa. It's a double Jalapa binder, and the filler is Mexico and Esteli. And the first third of this cigar, Will, was really awesome. And when you first light it up, it just hits you in the face with flavor. And that first third really stood out for me when I smoked the cigar. It kind of settles down in the second and final thirds, and I don't mean to say that it's bad in the second and final third, but it kind of settles out. It's still very smooth, and just kind of mellows out through the rest of the smoke. It's smoked great. I would definitely smoke more, and my rating on this was a box split.
I like that cigar a lot, and they have another cigar called Soapbox, and like I said,
you reviewed the Soapbox.
Soapbox is a good cigar, and you just wouldn't. They're actually very good cigars, yeah.
Yeah, and I of course, being a nerd, I like their marketing.
Yeah, no, I do too. I thought it was really cool. Like I said, sometimes you smoke a cigar and you don't know what to expect, and that was a really nice surprise.
Excellent. Back to you.
My smoke of the week. And now I'm already in a possession. I got more of these already. They're that good. Tatuaje Jackal.
Oh, that's interesting. My smoke of the week's from Tatuaje, but it wasn't the Jackal.
I got to talk about that one too because I have more comments on that. But yeah, so the Jackal is Pete's been going crazy with the shop exclusives this year. Mm-hmm. This one is a shop exclusive from friends at Casa de Monte Cristo. Thank you for the cigars, by the way. Awesome guys at Casa de Monte Cristo.
Casa de Monte Cristo is like that gigantic cigar lounge on the outskirts of Chicago, right?
Yeah, it is and these guys, they have a vintage room, Paul, that's probably the best in the country.
I've heard. A good friend of mine actually lives near Casa de Monte Cristo and says, yeah, I don't really need a smoke room in my house. I just go to Casa. It's really that's the kind of shop this is. So
yeah, I'm I used to go to Chicago a lot. I don't get up there as much. I'm going to try to get up there in the next year to just take a trip to Chicago. And with the sole purpose is, and they do a lot. These guys know how to do shop exclusives. They did a lot of Quesada ones. They've done some My Father ones. They did. If you heard of those 9/11 cigars for 9/11, they've done. They're really experienced. I say them and Smoke Inn are really the two shops that know how to do shop exclusives.
Yep.
They got a winner here, okay? Because they got a cigar blended with the Sancti Spiritus wrapper, which is what was on the Jekyll. So this one, it's over Nicaraguan binder and filler. It's a 6 3/4 by 54 torpedo with I don't want to say shagged foot. I want to say more of an unfinished foot.
Oh, did I smoke this yet? Did I review this one yet?
I don't think. I know you have one.
I have one. I don't think I've. Yeah, I don't think I've smoked it yet because the person who gave it to me is my friend who lives near Casa de Monte Cristo, and he said that it needed time.
I had mine sitting for a while.
Okay.
Before I smoked them. Yeah.
Okay.
But I believe there's incredible aging potential on it. But this is when that Sancti Spiritus wrapper, and my opinion, I think we've talked about it because I use it on the Lateliers. It does need time. Okay. But when it kicks in, it's a fantastic wrapper. Great sweetness on the cigar. It had a little bit of that. It had some nice chocolate notes in there. It had. I did get a little harshness at the end of that cigar a couple of times, but I think that may be a factor of a little age. I smoked these very quickly too.
Yep.
When I got them, but but the one I had that I let sit that's why I've waited to talk about was very, very good. It's great burning great burning torpedo.
Yep.
Not an overpowering cigar. It's medium in strength, medium to full in body. I think they got a winner with this particular cigar. They got a lot of boxes at Casa de Monte Cristo. Call them up. Go to the store. You go to topqualitycigars.com and order these cigars. They have 5-packs. They're a little on the pricier side. They're $13.99. If you're a Tatuaje geek, you're gonna like this cigar. Box worthy cigar. It's at 10-count boxes too, so you can get it in a box at a reasonable price.
So I smoked another. This is a store exclusive. In the cigar's called the W. But
that's from my friend.
Who is now? Which store is this, Will?
We got to thank the guys at Nice Ash Cigars, Andy and Rob. They've sent us these cigars, and they're a shop based out of Western New York. They have one also in like Western Pennsylvania.
Well, they can feel free to send more if they want. We'll happily smoke them.
I have more. Yeah,
So, it's called the W, but the original, what's the story? It was called the Whore, and that was like a joke between Pete and the store owners. Did they like call each other whore, or?
I think it goes back to the Tatuaje whore.
Was that another release from Tatuaje?
No. I think there's a expression. I use the word Tatuaje enthusiast, but I think the joke is
I call it fanboy,
horse.
but Tatuaje whore. I get it. It. I gotcha.
Yep.
So when they totally just went with that theme for this cigar, it's got a red W on the band, and it's got a lady's what do you call that? Boussier? Boussier? I think
it's kind of like
ladies' lingerie, essentially.
Ladies' lingerie, yeah.
On the band, which is kind of interesting. My comment was, "Yep, I smoked the whore," and yep, I liked it, and I think it liked it too as well. But you can see Will's got the preview with all the details about this cigar, and it was awesome, Will. I mean, this was one of the what you would expect from an awesome Tatuaje cigar. Perfectly balanced. The burn, draw, and construction were perfect. The flavors were awesome. It had some complexity, aging potential. I mean, this is a home run in my opinion. And I have to say that I haven't been seeking out a lot of these Tatuaje limited releases lately the way that I used to. But this is one that really caught my attention and one that I would definitely go out of my way to get more.
Yeah, and I'm going to say this because I did the pre-review of that, and I didn't find it complex with the but I smoked an unbanded pre-release of that, and it was a very good cigar. I thought it was more woody That cigar in the last few weeks, when I got the banded ones, I could tell it's the same blend. It's not that it was a different. That thing is really coming into its own with that Sumatra
Tobacco's
wrapper right now.
melded together.
The,
Yeah,
the tobacco's real. I mean, there's a big difference in just a few weeks. And they got plenty of those cigars as well. So I definitely encourage folks to go to Nice Ash. You go to wcigar.com. I mean, these guys they were kind enough to give us the exclusive announcement of that cigar too. So
that's awesome.
they've been really good guys, and I think Tatuaje fans are gonna be really happy with that. Another one. That's another winner by Pete. You're right on with that.
Back to you, Will.
I smoked. I've kind of been a little behind on my Viajes, but I did finally get around to smoking the new TNT this year, the 2015, and the difference with this cigar as opposed to previous Viajes, this was a release done by in the DR by PDR.
The new factory, right?
Yep, by PDR Cigars, who will be on the show next week, by the way. Yep, we have confirmation of that. And so it's the first time this is the first releases that came out of that factory. It's the first time Andres used a Connecticut broadleaf cigar. And I thought Andre did a great, and Abe Flores did a great job with this cigar. It's got coffee notes, earth notes. It's got some nice sweetness up front. It's going to get a lot more earthy in the background. There's got to be, I don't know, they didn't disclose the rest of the tobaccos, but I definitely picked up some Dominican tobaccos in that cigar. It's something that I hadn't picked up in an Andre Farkas cigar before. It still smokes like a TNT in that it's strong. It's not over the top strong, but it's strong enough to be a TNT. I haven't been the hugest fan of the Nicaraguan TNTs, but I think this one's really good. I think there's great aging potential on this cigar as well. I gave it a 5 right now. I think it could go up in time, but I gave it a 5. It's $11.45 a cigar, and I think these are still available if you go to your VIA shop if they have any left.
I remember smoking the original TNTs, Will. Those things were awesome.
I never was the biggest fan of those, but they were one of those, like Andre talked about, sit those cigars for a while.
They did. They aged really well. I think I remember Stogie Santa coming out of the back with some, aged TNTs, and I was like, wow, that cigar is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of interesting to see Andre go down this new route now through PDR. It's different stuff. He's still making stuff with out of Nicaragua and Honduras too. So, but it's a nice change. I think it's a nice welcome change to Andre's portfolio. When I started picking up what I thought was Dominican tobacco, it was like a hay grass. I'm like, this is something Andre hasn't had in his cigars before, and it's something that was a nice change in my opinion. It gave me something more to look forward to with a lot of these other releases.
So the last cigar on my list is the Christoph Cameroon. These were gifted to me by our local representative, Jared. And great story behind these. They found the African Cameroon bales.
I haven't smoked mine yet, so you got one. I have one.
Yeah.
I haven't smoked it.
So I smoked 2 of them. These also didn't go through enough resting in my humidor. So they were, the burn was a little wonky because of the way they were stored just in transport to me. And the second one was definitely better because I let that rest for a day or two in my humidor, and it definitely improved. I do have to say the first third of the cigar, it takes a little while to come into its own. It's interesting. In the first third, it's kind of like a little undecisive as to what it wants to do. And then after that first third, as soon as you get through that, man, it kicks into high gear. That Cameroon sweetness comes through so prominently right down to the very end, and it kind of makes another little change up at the end as well. You get a little more richness at the end. But it's got that sweet spot in the middle that I think is only going to expand over time. I think that cigar is really going to meld together as it ages. I'm putting this as a box-worthy cigar, Will. I think this is a fantastic Cameroon offering. I mean, I would smoke more now just to get to that middle part of the cigar that kicks into high gear with sweetness. There's a little bit of caramel in this cigar. It's got a lot going on. It's an awesome, awesome offering from Christoph.
What's the strength and body level of that cigar?
It's medium. I would say it's medium. Yeah, it's not overpowering, but it's not as light as some of the other Cameroons that I've smoked either.
I didn't get, I forgot to ask at the end of the interview when they were asking what kind of cigar you would want blended, and I mean, we got kind of sidetracked, but I wanted to say I want a full strength, full body Cameroon.
Yeah.
I'd love to try some. I mean, LFDs come close, but not to the strength I'd really like. Yeah, I'd like to see if they could even amp that up more at some point. But yeah.
This was really good. Really good.
Yep.
And it's a darker Cameroon. If you see the picture, Will, it's one of the darker Cameroons that I've seen.
Yeah, and we were talking about this on Stogie Geeks News last week. Glenn went back to that what I call the rustic Christoph look.
Yep.
You know, those rough bands, the loose tobacco in the boxes. I love that look on it.
It's got a nice pigtail, little pigtail cap on
it. Yep.
Which is classic Christoph as well.
Yep.
I think the one contest that we had for this show will probably do it, Will. I mean, we're giving away 10. We're going to have a lot of email to sort through, so I say we just go with that, and we'll hold off our other. Actually, no, I do have a prize pack to give away on this show. I don't know what it is. It's labeled with the show number. Maybe one of our lovely assistants can go get the.
Is Vanna there?
Yeah. It's Vanna. Yeah, we need Vanna White to go get. It's in the box there, labeled 5139. I think. No, it's not. It's on that same shelf over there. On the box labeled 5139, 2 over to the left. Should be our 2 over to the left, your other left.
We're giving a lot of cigars away tonight.
Giving a lot of cigars away. There is a prize pack in there labeled whatever episode number this is, 154. There is a prize pack. So what are we going to ask?
That comes with a T-shirt, this one. So
yeah, and so let's describe. This comes with a Smoke Naked T-shirt, and it'll be a prize pack. Describe for us the ideal cigar for Paul. I described my ideal cigar. Email the show at stogies.com on what my ideal cigar is like. We'll pick the best answer, and you will win prize pack number 154, which is actually some Rocky Patel Prohibition. This is in both the broadleaf and the Mexican wrapper. This is a 4-pack, prize pack number 154, Rocky Patel Prohibition. You get 2 broadleafs and 2 Mexican wrapper of the Prohibition. Email the show at stogies.com. Describe what my ideal cigar is.
Yeah, and you've got the Bovita pack in there now, too.
Yeah, and the Bovita packs are all in there. They're all labeled with the show. We're all organized with our contest now. So
Yep.
Be giving away cigars on every show. With this, you also get a Stogie Geek Smoke Naked T-shirt. So make sure you include your T-shirt size in your submission. Makes it easier for us as well. Excellent. Well, I think that rounds out the show, Will, unless you had any other announcements or anything like that.
No, I mean, I believe like I mentioned, we have PDR cigars coming on next week. So, and then the week after is Defiant Whiskey. So,
in the next 2 weeks, the guests will be in studio.
Yep.
They'll be in studio. So make sure that's a good excuse to tune into our live stream.
Yeah, I mean, you'll want to be. I think we're going to have some giveaways next week too. So I know it's football season, but you can always put the sound off and have the Stogie Geeks on.
That's right.
Yep.
Thanks, everyone, for watching. We'll see everyone next week on the Stogie Geek Show.